As with any big project, a successful home buying experience is going to be all about getting the details right from start to finish. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 13 tips for a first-time home buyer. So let's go ahead and get after it right now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, I want to welcome you to the community. And if you want the most thorough, deep dive, all things Los Angeles, well, this is the channel that does just that for you. So go ahead right now and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on the current market here in Los Angeles. My name is James, and we get tons of calls and emails every day from people just like you, ready to make a move to Los Angeles, and we absolutely love it. So if you're ready to make a smooth move to Los Angeles, California, go ahead, shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call, and we got your back when you're ready to make a move to Los Angeles, California. So let's go ahead right now, get into it. In the 13 top tips for a first-time home buyer before moving here to Los Angeles, California. So go ahead. Number one, you're going to want to start saving early. So you're going to have to figure out what you're able to afford in regards to your expenses, what you currently have now, and then of course how much you're going to have to spend on your next property. You have to factor in your down payment. You're going to have closing costs. So closing costs are typically about 3 to 5% for a home buyer. It depends on obviously the price of the home, what kind of loan you have. So you're going to have to factor that in. And you also have moving expenses. So moving expenses are going to be something like obviously the moving truck, a moving company, packing. You're going to need to buy supplies. So it's all going to depend on the distance you're coming from. If it's a local move, obviously it's going to be cheaper. These are some of the factors that you're going to want to consider when making a move here to Los Angeles. Number two is going to be decide how much home you can afford, and that's going to be based on, of course, your income, how much debt you carry. These are some of the factors that you're going to have to think about. You're not going to want to be house rich and cash poor. So what that means is that you don't want to get into a property. You don't want to, if you can afford a property, let's say for $500,000, it doesn't mean you have to go right up to that $500,000. You might want to go maybe $450,000, save yourself a little wiggle room. That way you're not right up against the wall there with your expenses. It's just going to have to, you're going to have to decide on what you're comfortable with your income based on everything that you're going to do once you make that move. Number three is going to be check and strengthen your credit. So what I mean by that is you're going to want to go ahead and pull your credit report and look at all your scores, all your credit scores, your overall FICO score. So FICO score, they average your 3 scores from the bureaus, and you're gonna your loan will be heavily determined on what kind of loan you get based on how credit worthiness you are. So you're going to want to pull your FICO, and then if you have any derogatories or any late payments, anything on there that you can fix or dispute, it's best to contact the companies directly, and that way you can work on getting your credit fixed or repaired before actually getting a loan for a property. And then make sure also that you stay up to date on paying your bills on time, because that's something that's really important. You don't want any 30, 90, 120 day lates in your report, because the mortgage companies are going to look at that, and that's something they frown upon, obviously, because they want to make sure that the borrower is able to repay the debt that they're going to get from them. So that is number 3. Number 4 is explore different mortgage options. So when you have a mortgage, when you are obtaining a mortgage, depending on how credit worthiness you are, they have what's called conventional loans. They have FHA, which are government-backed insured loans. They have VA loans for veterans. These are just some of the different types out there. So you're going to have to decide when you talk to your loan officer at a bank or lender institution, which is going to be best for you. And all of them have different criteria. So make sure that you talk to your loan officer and let them know that you are a first-time buyer. Number 5, so research the first-time home buyer assistant programs in the city you're moving to. So if you're moving here to Los Angeles, you're going to want to make sure that you do talk to your lender and ask them if they're familiar with any first-time home buyer programs. A lot of the times they are, especially if you are a first-time home buyer. They can usually help with down assistance of your down payment, and you might get a better rate. It really all depends on the actual program itself. But you do have to do a little research. I know they're not super easy to get, but depending on your income and your status, financial status overall, you're going to want to talk to your loan officer and find that out. So also number 6, with that being said, you're going to want to compare rates and fees. So what happens is that when you obtain a mortgage, you get a certain percentage rate attached to it. And that percentage rate is going to be based, of course, on your credit worthiness. And so coupled with that, you have fees, what are called loan origination fees. It's things like title, escrow, notary. There's many fees that are associated with it. So you're going to want to see you're going to want to talk to your loan officer to find out which is going to be best for you and how you can lower some of those fees so you're not paying too much for them, of course. And a lot of the times as a first-time home buyer, you get taken advantage of because you don't know what you don't know, right? So make sure that you do go over that and do a little shopping. You know, you might want to shop 2 or 3 different lenders, get quotes from them and make sure it's in writing. And then that way you compare, make sure that you can find and figure out which is going to be best for you. Okay. So number 7 is going to be getting that approval letter. So this is very, very important. In fact, I can't work with you unless we get that actual approval letter in your hand. So what that does is getting the approval letter means that the lender has ran your financial information and everything that they found out in terms of your bank statements, your credit worthiness, things of that nature. They're going to basically check you out and say, yep, this person is able to afford X amount, a certain amount for a property. And then that way you're going to be able to write a firm offer opposed to a conditional one. And this is extremely important in today's age because right now with the competition, everything has multiple offers on it. And if you do not have a pre-approval, you stand pretty much 0 chance of getting an accepted offer without that pre-approval letter. So, and also there's a big difference between a qualification letter and a pre-approval. So you want to make sure you get the minimum pre-approval letter. And that way we can write a firm offer opposed to a conditional one as mentioned. And that's going to be number 7. So number 8 is going to be choosing your real estate agent. Make sure that your agent understands the market, make sure they understand different loans, make sure they understand your current situation that you are a first-time home buyer, make sure that they can negotiate on your behalf. Just make sure that they understand everything you need in regards to being represented the best way possible, because it could mean getting that property or not. If your agent is not a good negotiator, then they just might blow it for you on a property when they could have gotten it for you if they would have just known how to do some if they have some negotiation skills, and that way you are choosing the right realtor. So there are many factors, but just go ahead and ask them some questions when you do start shopping around for real estate agents. Okay, so number 9 is picking the right house, right? So you got to make sure that you're picking the right house in terms of the neighborhood, the size, the type of house. So maybe if you're looking for a single family residence, which could be like a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. If that's something you're looking for, you want to make sure that you're searching for the right properties. Also, there's townhouses, there's condos, there's mobile homes. So you have to know what exactly that your needs are, and that way you can figure out which property is going to be best for you. Moving on to number 10 is going to be stick to your budget. So this is what I mentioned before, is that you don't want to be house rich, cash poor. So sometimes it's very easy to be intrigued, and you see a property like, so let's say you're only approved for 500,000, and you see a property that's like 550 or 600,000, and you stretch yourself and you try to make that happen. Well, stick to your budget. This way you're not going to be house rich, cash poor, and that way you can stay on track. You can pay your other bills, you can go out, you can have entertainment expenses, whatever that is. Just make sure that you do stay on budget so you can pay all your bills. And so make sure that you factor that in. Number 11, very important. So once you do get a property, you're going to want to obtain a home inspection. So what a home inspection does, it checks out all of the material defects and anything else wrong with the property, such as the roof, foundation, walls, plumbing, electrical, all those things in nature. So you're going to want to make sure that you're getting a property that's not going to fall apart, that is not going to cost you an arm and a leg once you get the property. And also when you have an inspection, so what happens is when you buy a property, you get what's called a home warranty plan, and the home warranty plan covers the first year, and it's usually paid for through the seller of the property. Not always, but most of the time the seller will pay for 1 year, your first year of a home warranty. So the home warranty will cover a lot of the items in the house. So let's say during the inspection, let's say the dishwasher isn't working properly, and let's say in 30 days after you buy the property, it starts leaking all over. Well, that's something that would probably be covered in your home warranty plan. So that's really, really important that the home inspector identifies any material defects and other problems that could arise down the road. So the home warranty and the inspection kind of go hand in hand. So that's something that's really important to remember when buying your first property, okay? Number 12 is have your agent negotiate with the other parties, right? So this is super, super important, is what I mentioned before. So if your agent is not a good negotiator, that agent could lose the property for you. And negotiation is actually a skill. It's something that you work at and work on all the time. So you want to make sure that you choose an agent that is highly trained in negotiating, and they know a lot of tips and tricks to make sure that you can get the property, and make sure that they have the experience behind them. So don't forget to ask the questions that need to be asked when choosing an agent, so they can negotiate for you properly. And last but not least is make sure you have adequate home insurance. So with the home inspection and home warranty being said, so a adequate home insurance plan is going to make sure that if you have, like, let's say fire, earthquake damage, theft on the property, things in that nature. So you have to make sure you find out what your deductibles are, what they're actually going to cover. This is really important because not all insurance companies are the same, and they don't always cover every property type either. So if it's a single family opposed to like maybe a townhouse, and let's say the townhouse is in a rural area, and there might be, like, let's say some hills nearby, and it's in a fire danger area, they might not cover it. So this is really important. You're going to want to talk to your agent about that as well. So those are my top 13 tips for a first-time home buyer. And if you're thinking about making a move to Los Angeles, then the only way we can help you is that if you contact us. So go ahead and shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email, jump on our calendar, and we got your back when making a smooth move to Los Angeles. Until next time, we'll see you on the next video.